finally here at this trial. The first couple of days was the prosecution's questioning of her. And then Thursday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken, were cross-examination, where the defense, Diddy's lawyers, were able to get to her and ask her questions. They brought everything you could think of in the court. All the text messages were revealed. Not all, obviously, but they read through a lot of the text messages and went deep into really the sexual nature of their relationship, which seems what it was completely built on. The violence, the drugs. I saw a Star Report talk about this, and the title of his stream was Two Junkies in a Toxic Relationship. And to some people, that may just fit the perfect description for this relationship. That it was two people who were, unfortunately, drug addicts, opiates in particular. And it was toxic. It wasn't, and the narrative before this trial was obviously the narrative of Cassie being the complete innocent person. And I don't want to say just because somebody was doing certain things that we may deem wrong or immoral, it doesn't mean they deserve to be abused. Doesn't mean they deserve to be forced to do anything that they didn't want to do. Let me start by saying that. But a lot of things were revealed in this that make this a lot less black and white than people began to think of it. In the beginning, the argument was he beat her, he forced her to do things in the store, nothing to talk about. But as they went through those text messages, it got grayer and grayer by the minute. Regina said, I haven't watched nor kept up, but is it just me? I thought this case was going to be about racketeering and exploitation, not about him versus Cassie, wishful thinking. Well, it is. It is about him and racketeering and trafficking and stuff. The problem is, because she's such a pivotal part of this case, particularly for Diddy's defense, it became about assessing her credibility and her character. Sorry, hold on. So it became less about, it became more about, okay, she says she was sexually assaulted, forced to do things, abused. How much of this stuff did she go along with versus how much of it was she a willing participant in? Because if she was a willing participant in majority of these things, she is looking more like she should be more of a co-defendant than a witness. But we'll get to that. All right. Cassie feared release of freak-off videos she testified in Sean Diddy Combs' trial. So in the back and forth between her and the cross-examination with Diddy's lawyers, part of the reason why she said she went along with these freak-offs is because she was in fear, not just of the violence that Diddy would bring towards her, but also that he would release these things and publicly humiliate her. I guess that could be considered coercion, which is part of the thing they're trying to prove with the sex trafficking. And obviously because he allegedly used his businesses to pay for these things, and that's your racketeering. So let's go ahead and get to some of these things. I want to show this too. Hold on, let me show this. Because I saw a few beginning of the week, I think I brought this up, that there's people protesting outside the court. America is such a strange place. Maybe it's just not even America, it's the world really. That whenever anything happens in the public that becomes national or even international news, it immediately creates this sideism of your side versus my side versus everybody understanding that things may be more nuanced. Now, as this person said in the video, I'm sure many of these people are paid actors on both sides who are just there to stoke more attention to this case or even try and swing people either way. So let me show this.
Why do you feel that way?
So these are all paid protesters. You can get $20 an hour if you wear a t-shirt.
You gotta speak up.
She just got recruited, right?
I refuse.
You said no.
No.
It wasn't worth the 20?
No, but like he told me that it's for a Diddy coin, so I'm not really sure what that is. Yeah, they just tried to pay me $20 to wear a free fucking shirt.
Stop. I knew, I could tell, because
The lady right there, she just kept convincing me to go wear a shirt, and I'm like, I'm good.
that's what, so just $20. And if you guys if you need $20, all you have to do is wear a free puff shirt.
They just stand out here.
And you said no.
Yeah, I said no.
Did they say how many hours?
$20 an hour. And she told me she got paid like $60 yesterday for standing out there in 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Regina says, sounds like it should be two different trials. This is turning into another Epstein nothing burger where the elite is protected. It's super freaky ish versus sex trafficking surveillance accusations. Well, yeah, it is just the first week, and Cassie's the first witness. They're supposed to have a few other people next week. Dawn Richards, she was the last witness this week, but she didn't finish hers. She's supposed to continue Monday. And I will agree, I haven't seen this elaborate, other than him. Some of these freak offs, he asked her if she wanted to do it, and she was like, yeah, I'm with it. And he told her to set it up, and she called the person to set it up. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know once again, I understand when it comes to trafficking, you have to prove coercion, and this threat of violence is a part of it. But it just haven't painted that picture yet. But anyway, Regina says America is officially third world. Not crazy. Adam said, not you too, Regina. Don't put that third status on us. Hey, Anna was almost here. It's almost here. Let me just go through some of the headlines before I get to some of the back and forth questioning in the court. So I can go ahead and go straight to it, matter of fact. Let me just, right here. So the first day of cross-examination, the defense is, at this point, is trying to make her, is trying to destroy any credibility that she has as a witness against Diddy. They admit it immediately that Diddy is a violent man. He is definitely a domestic abuser. Yada yada yada. They're not even trying to defend that. Obviously, we have proof of that on video. But they're also in this entire thing pretty much painting him as a drug abuser, right? Who at certain points lost control of himself. They did a whole rundown of the day or the week prior to the attack in the Intercontinental Hotel, where the infamous video that was released, showing that right before that he was having a he was having withdrawals, and he was dealing with the drug situation going on with him. He was being irritable already, and they even try to paint the picture that he's definitely a little bit more violent when that happens. So the whole purpose of that happening in the hallway is because of the drug addiction, not necessarily just because he's just an abuser. They also said that the bag she tried to run away with in that video had money in it. That's what one of the agents said during the questioning, that there was apparently like $9,000 in the bag, and it was during the freak off. So I'm wondering, why was she trying to take the money? I don't really understand that. But the defense is trying to use that to say, see, it wasn't just him attacking her. This was just a toxic relationship. Regina said, there's a few actual Americans left this place as immigrants, and turns out it has always been. Sorry, let me go. I'm not going to read all this, obviously. I'm just going to run through a few things I want to show. This is her saying, she love you, smiley face. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you. That's Cass in the email. She had a little pet names for him, calling them Pop Pop. Yada yada. Typical stuff you expect in a relationship, obviously. She sent explicit messages. They were obviously constantly setting up freak offs, and she would be the one that set the freak offs off. It's right here. This is what Diddy said. Diddy said, I want to see. How did you reply? She said, I can't wait either. Then she said, I feel like I want to F, right? She said, that's what it says. Mr. Crumb says, I'm so horny, I can't concentrate. What do you say? That I'll go to Dwayne or Reed for candles and then set up a room. Combs Did you understand that he was going to take another video of you? Speculation. You can move on. You asked, any pills on you? What pills were you taking? Opiates. She deleted videos. Let me just run through. Then she had bad performances in certain places. They also painted a picture that he helped put her, obviously, in certain predicaments that he wasn't jealous of a possible career. He was in the studio with Wayne and all these other rappers, these famous people. He helped her get on certain stages, took her to the Met Gala. So they painted a picture that he was helpful to her career, that he showed love to her in these messages, constantly being lovey-dovey with her. So it wasn't all violence and sex. Yada, yada, yada. Mr. Combs taught you to do oral sex. That he did. Look at this. Tell me what you read. Tell me when you're ready. Can you read it? You can read it. It's making me laugh. It's from 2007. You wrote, I feel protected. You are sweet. You wrote, I see that Carrie is better fitting for you. I'm hurt that you think I'm malicious. You're very important to me. Ex Cass. Cass said Cass has been allowed to weaponize her kinks for the $30 million she initially asked him for, and the public fell for it. Well, yeah, in this trial, in the cross-examination, or in general this week, we found out she asked for 30. But even before that, apparently she threatened to release a book. Now, if I don't know, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but ain't that blackmail? She threatened to release a book with certain information. I'm gonna release this book, or you're gonna give me 30 million. He gave her 20. Now the feds is already investigating. They jump in. You're a witness now. Yada yada yada. But she also got another 10 million recently from the hotel that hid the video. So she ended up getting 30 million regardless. This whole situation is crazy. Then the Kerry Morgan situation, her best friend who he hit in the head with a wooden hanger apparently. I think this is her right. I got her right here. That was her best friend who he ended up being violent towards, who she ended up suing her and Cat. The friend sued her and Diddy. And they're not friends anymore, apparently. Is there anything else I want to see from that? The swinger lifestyle, nobody talks about it. This is from July 2012. You say, Mr. Combs, I'm horny and bored. This is after a freak off, right? There were a lot of texts here. Let me go down. You said Mr. Combs often put you down, but he also sent you encouragement and called you a queen, right? Yes. What would trigger Mr. Combs' incessant calls to you? Anger, doubt about where I was. So the jealousy point is another thing his lawyers try to push, saying that she was the same way he was messing around with other people, so was she, and he would show jealousy. So they try to paint him as just some jealous dude who's a drug addict. And then I want to show this part right here because we can go past that right there. I want to show this from that. This is them asking her, in this meeting, you said the rape took place after Mr. Combs returned from Burning Man. It's funny because I remember a couple years ago, there's always been people that said that in that Burning Man thing that happens, they'll be out there having orgies and stuff. And I remember when Will Smith announced he was going. And it was, and a lot of people who went out there, regular people, civilians, they would say that they would see celebrities that you would never expect at that Burning Man situation. They would be, because there was no cameras and video and stuff. So it would be all kind of celebrities you would never think to be out there that was. Billionaires, famous people, artists, entertainers from all over. But yeah, anyway, you said he was acting strangely at the time at the dinner. He said, I don't remember exactly that word. Did you meet the U.S. on April 8, 2025? Around then? This message to FB, who's that? Frank Black, a name he used. He wrote, I'm in an investors conference. We'll get back to this. You still have love for him? I have love for the past and what it was. You wrote, I didn't mean to be a bitch. I just don't get time. He writes, just need you to be positive, correct? Yes. This is about a yoga instructor? Yep. What did you write? I wrote, I've stopped even caring. But you did care. Yeah. So he said, you could date other people. Let's just talk about it, correct? Yes. And this could just be a form of manipulation. Doesn't mean that she had complete freedom to do what she wanted, but according to these text messages, she did. Adam says she was offering Carrie to Diddy like she was a madam early on in the relationship. Yeah, they asked her in this, did Diddy find the Carrie woman attractive? And she said in the beginning it was something like that. So I don't know. What am I? Oh yeah. What did you write? I wrote, I do love you. I would just prefer not being one of your girlfriends. Let's get up tomorrow night. I'll do the studio from 6 to 9. He writes, can I hold you or are you just going to break up with me? And you write back, we can embrace, LOL. And you wanted to hug him, right? Another thing I want to point out, when the prosecution was asking her questions, there was a lot more crying. Maybe it's a natural reaction to some of the questions they asked or whatever. But when she was questioned by the defense, a lot more laughing on her part. I just thought it was kind of, maybe it was her way of showing confidence in the question because she know they're going to reveal some certain things about her. So she kind of tried to remain normal and laugh at certain things. And I don't know. Anyway. And you write back, we can embrace LOL, and you wanted to hug him, right? That's what I said. Did you have sexual intercourse with Mr. Combs that night? Ventura, I did. And during that, your now husband FaceTimed you. Yes. Your now husband didn't know you were with Mr. Combs at the time. I don't know what he knew. Later he discovered it. Objection, overruled. You don't, your husband, you didn't tell your husband you were raped. Not that evening. After Miss Porter's memorial service, you wrote to him that you were going home. Why had he called Kim his soulmate? What was the 11 years all about? Yes. That was hurtful? At the time, yes. So a man who is abusive, drugging you, and all these other things. Once again, I understand people using the term Stockholm Syndrome, where a person can begin to develop certain weaknesses for a person that is their oppressor. But you're with another person, you moved on to the trainer that he paid for, and you're still dealing with him. I think this was 2018. And then it went back to the memorial service for Kim Porter, and when he said that she was his soulmate, she said that hurt her. I'm gonna be honest. Outside of the abuse and stuff, which once again they're gonna get Diddy on the trafficking more than likely because he purchased sex workers or escorts, what you want to call them, to come deal with her, and he used the business. That's racketeering. It should be probably that part is gonna be just easy. It's probably already been proven, but it's hard for me not to see that she kind of stayed in this because of the options as far as financially, and she wanted to be standing next to Diddy, who, regardless of what anybody say, who probably would be considered the king of New York especially when it comes to the entertainment industry. She clearly wanted that position, and she was also being abused and all this other stuff. She constantly was afraid that another woman was going to take her place, as she did Kim Porter. And I said the same thing about Kim Porter. Kim Porter was with somebody, had a child, and willingly went with Diddy. Like, we have to kind of be honest about this. And I understand the Stockholm Syndrome. I'm going to bring it. I understand. But I don't want to compare this situation to a man who kidnaps a woman and takes her out in the middle of a woods to some shack and holds her captive for months and all this other stuff that happens mentally and with the trauma she's going through. We have to make sure we include that this is a millionaire, famous man. So this is not just some dude that's only with this woman because he forced her. There's a certain level of attraction to either him or his resources. Anam says the thing she might be a victim of is DV. Beating's nothing else. I agree. Once again, the drugs seem to have been a problem that maybe he introduced her to, the drugs. Because, like I said, throughout this cross-examination, they kind of made sure to point out both of them were down bad when it comes to that. And then in some instances, Diddy tried to get her to kind of clean up a bit. Once again, it could have just been him showing control over the relationship and her. But yeah. And I do think if Diddy, based off of these text messages, would have married her and gave her children, she probably not leaving. It seems like the reason why she got with the Alex dude is to kind of try. If you read the text messages, when she left finally with the Alex dude, she was still in contact with him saying, I don't want to be a girlfriend. I want to be the only one. So it was always like an ultimatum. Either I'm leaving or you're going to make me the number one, only me, just me and you. And he was trying to be a playboy and talk it over and all this other stuff. He was never going to commit to that. So, yeah. Regina says, was she under some type of contract with Diddy that required regular interactions? Well, she was signed to his label. She was signed to, obviously, his label. And that's another part of the control they're saying he had, because he was controlling her finances because he signed to his label, and she was on a 10 contract deal, even though she only put one album out. Even though when people in the industry say that they knew based off of the recording sessions they had, none of those songs or albums was ever getting released. So was she a participant in this, or was she naive to the situation? Keep in mind, the man she was with prior to Diddy, I forgot his name. His name is escaping me right now. He was a producer. He helped create her. You know, he was one of the people that kind of made her entire sound and image. And then, like Diddy always do, he just take them. What I will say about Diddy, I think it was Kiefer. Ryan Leslie. Thank you, Honor. It was Ryan Leslie. And yeah, William did. William said Diddy's on trial for not validating Cassie's feelings. LOL. Once again, because you have to keep saying this because people will think you're defending Diddy. Diddy, for a long time, has been known to be a piece of shit when it comes to stealing people's money, not validating his artists, and living by contracts, backstabbing people, allegedly behind the scenes, getting people touched, all this. We know what Diddy is. That's why I'm sorry. I can't believe that a person who was scared to come out against Diddy because, you know, people wouldn't believe him. Well, nobody has liked Diddy since Biggie died. Nobody has liked him publicly. His public image has not been positive since that moment. So if you would have came out in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with this information, well, I'll say 13, 14, any of that time, you would have gotten the same reaction to me from the world. But anyway. What up, William? What up, man? Virginia says, Diddy's reputation comes across as he likes to breed with women for children, but just like the Romans, he's into boys. I was going to bring that up because I think a little while ago, Kiefer, I think it was, maybe it was you, Regina, I don't know, either you or Kiefer, y'all compared him to Caligula. Man, and just a constant sex. He was a sex addict. He just based everything about him was just sexual. And he also reminded me of Nino Brown from whatchamacallit, because if you bring your girl around Diddy and he finds her attractive, it's like a 99% chance he's either going to try it and he's probably going to actually get with her. Because you got to remember, this is Diddy. This is a millionaire, famous, top of the industry, charismatic dude. Like, we see it all the time with how this goes. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, he Diddy reminds me of Caligula. That is definitely his spirit. That's why it's funny he changed his name to Love. But yeah, as I look at all these things, I'm not gonna go through all of them. It does seem that he was a jealous dude, obviously, power hungry, had anger issues, violent. He was all the things they say he is, but it also shows she might have been somebody who was looking for a come up as well. I mean, she clearly was looking for an opportunity in the industry to make it. That's why she left her Ryan Leslie to get with Diddy, and he got backstabbed for that. And he was 10 years older than her. Which the whole other conversation about these younger women dating these older men because they feel like they have more resources and options and all this other stuff. Like, this is a cautionary story for both sides. And I'm not both sides in the sense that Diddy did something or something was done to Diddy. Power corrupts. And you have to be sure to not think that you're a god at any moment. At least not in this instance where you can do what you want and everybody can bend to your will. But it also is a cautionary tale to the women that young women deciding to move towards these older men, you can be exploited. No matter how much you think your sexuality will bend his will, his power and resources will make you do things you don't want to do. And when you come out later on and say you were forced to do something, you're always going to deal with skeptics. No matter how much people try to paint it as if you say anything about Cassie, you're defending Diddy or you're against women, you hate women or whatever. It's like, look, man, we got to be honest. That's the only way things can improve if you be honest about the entire situation. Anyway,